against Macy and Megan.
Day one, round one continues at the Huntington Beach Open, part of the Heritage Series of the AVP in 2024. Women's action continuing on Stadium Court in our beautiful setup here north of the pier on a May gray kind of day where the volleyball is exceptional, even if the weather is a little clouded over. Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready for Macy Jerger and Megan Rice, who are going to take on Kelly Cheng and Sarah Hughes. I almost said Clay's there, Rich Lamborn. Gold medalist.
How dare you.
Rich Lamborn alongside Kevin Barnett. Welcome back to our position. The defending champs here, Clays and Hughes, Cheng and Hughes, so everyone knows who we're talking about. What kind of pressure's on them to perform right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's added pressure. They have the pressure every time they step on the court because I think they want to win. They have those high expectations. They're looking at the Olympics later in the summer, very shortly, in fact, and they want to get their game dialed. So, I mean, I think that in and of itself is pressure.
Paris bound, Europe for 3 weeks after this, but let's get them started here on day one of Huntington Beach. We'll send it down to Mark Sherman on the sand. He has the intros.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let's do this thing, shall we? Here we go. These two teams, this will be their first match. After this, we get into the second round of the winner's bracket. But no, first match here in Huntington, here in the main draw for these two teams. And actually with this first team, I think I need the coach to get in here as well a little bit. Kendra, you have one stipulation if you're going to coach a team. There has to be, what is the stipulation?
Your name has to be Megan Rice.
You have to have a Megan Rice on your team. You're coaching Megan Rice and Brooke Bauer, and you're also coaching Megan Rice and Macy Jerger. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Boca Raton, Florida, the University of Florida and Florida Atlantic. We've really got the Floridas covered on this team. Let me hear for Megan Rice. The original Megan Rice? Am I allowed to say that? I mean, sort of. Yeah, the original. And her partner out of Fort Myers, Florida and Florida State, the Seminole. Let me hear for Macy Jerger. And their opponents. Oh, what a welcome home here to Huntington Beach for these two. Oh my goodness, first time on the AVP sands for the world champion since winning the world championship in Mexico back in October. They're also the defending Huntington Beach AVP champions, ladies and gentlemen. First up out of Costa Mesa, California, the soon-to-be Olympian. Let me hear it for Sarah Hughes. And and her partner out of Fullerton, California. Also the woman of Troy out of USC. Soon to be two-time Olympian. She is Kelly Cheng.
You're never quite sure where the journey of your professional career will take you. In the case of Cheng and Hughes, it is back together.
Back together, yeah. Rarely do the reconciliations work out as well as it has for Cheng and Hughes, I would say, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, comfortable, successful, two-time defending champions here in Huntington. 51st tournament together and 15th time on the AVP tour together. And as mentioned, they are Paris bound. They're going to have 3 weeks in Europe. They're headed to Portugal, and then they will spend a little time back at home as Cheng goes short there before ramping up into the Paris Olympic Games. Should be pretty iconic having the Olympic Games beach volleyball event occur underneath the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, if you've seen pictures online of where the venue is going to be and what it looks like, it is stunning.
Chip shot. How did she see that one?
Well, that's part of their game, right? A pivotal part of their game is that on-two option offense, and is just second nature to the likes of Kelly Cheng.
Well, Kelly Cheng, I think the debate has always been, and sometimes the knock on her has been that on-two game, right? It cuts both ways for her. It's both one of her most exceptional qualities and one that can become frustrating at times, as there's a clean three-contact winner.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think because that's kind of a newer element in the game, we're seeing it more and more, of course, but it gets a little bit more scrutiny. If you fail to put a ball away on the option, it gets more scrutiny than if you fail to put it away on the third contact for whatever reason, right? From a coaching standpoint, I always like to look at the decision-making process of the equation, right? If you decided to do it in the right circumstance and you failed, that's acceptable. If you're making poor decisions, that's another matter.
You're listening to gold medalist Rich Lamborn talk about being process-oriented instead of results-oriented.
Wish I did that in my own life a little more.
Well, yeah, you learn a few things as you progress in life and hopefully volleyball, right? There's another nice dig by Hughes. Bump set. She got just enough of it to generate a winner, and they are off to a perfect 5-0 start.
Yeah, that's a look at the foot speed of Sarah Hughes in the backcourt. She is mobile back there.
I've always been impressed with her in that regard. She always has looked in the sand as though she's playing on pavement.
Yeah, she's, similar to like a Taylor Crab. You just can't fathom that they're moving like that on this surface.
It's their native surface. Oh, there's a shoot, and it's a winner for 6. Do you call a timeout? I think you have to here, don't you? You're getting a little overwhelmed in set one. They're chatting about it, are Jerger and Rice.
Yeah, that's always an interesting conversation, when to call a timeout. Do you want to keep it in the bank? We're about to switch sides after this point regardless. That gives us a chance to catch our breaths, perhaps.
They're on the board. Side switch 6-1 is not where you want to be. I've said before, I think that 3-0 or 4-0 to open a set always feels worse than it actually is on the scoreboard. This is actually a really tough start here.
This is a tough start, yeah. I would even argue, to your point, that this feels worse than perhaps it is, because there's still so much set left to play, but it feels so overwhelming that you were down 6-0, right? Like, that feels like almost the first set's already over, even though that's far from the truth.
The April Ross School of Reception from Kelly Cheng. And a good pass. Should run a little bit inside and knuckle with the left hand. And again, it'll be just enough to stay out of the outstretched arms of Jerger and Rice.
Yeah, that's an element that Cheng and Hughes have continued to add to their game, is that hand setting from Sarah Hughes. When they were partners at SC and kind of early on in their professional careers, I don't think that was a part at all. Maybe it's certainly not a very big part of their game, but it's so critical when you're playing the best teams in the world to have just that added element of control with your hand setting and your offense.
And that's been an interesting evolution in collegiate beach volleyball. When it first started, almost no one hand set, even 3 or 4 years ago. But now I notice everyone has gone to that model more or less.
Well, it's such a critical element of the game. It's something that can set you apart from, the teams that you're chasing or the teams that you're hoping to stay in front of. And so the opportunity in college to train that relentlessly, and the repetitions that these girls can get coming out of the collegiate ranks, so important. And that's why you're seeing it be such a bigger and bigger part of the women's game.
9-1 for the defending champ, serving deep corner. Working on Rice. He'll pass that one over. Free ball coming. 2-ball option taken. Scored. 10-1.
Yeah, perfect execution. That's the shot that Kelly Cheng likes to hit. She's renowned for that crossbody feast.
Yeah, we were talking about decisions on too. That was no decision. That was just, this is happening.
Yeah, that's a set play, and it's just executed perfectly, and the train keeps on rolling for Cheng and Hughes.
Yeah, I was actually looking out at the surface to see if there was a tidal wave coming in here in Huntington Beach, because it has hit Jerger and Rice here to open the first set. This is a different kind of French fries. This is a small French fry.
Right, right. I prefer the large French fry.
Me too.
You can have the small if you'd like it in this instance.
Yeah, this is the small fry 11-1. We rarely get to see the small fry. It's kind of an unusual thing. So Cheng and Hughes. I was talking to Kelly Cheng before this, and I said, are we still video gaming? Are we still hardcore gaming? She goes, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the Switch, the Nintendo Switch. I said, what about the new one? No. I was shocked. I almost fell down in the sand. They kind of destabilized my world for a second, a little vertigo, because I figured for sure she was on the brand new platform. She said, no, it's going to take an amazing game to get me to the new platform.
Interesting. Interesting. So she's got the diehard gamer, but also the loyalty to the old school implements.
Well, and also an old school game. I was like, all right, what game are you playing? Like, what's your go-to? Oh, it's tough. You know, she's trying to make a choice.
Pong?
She said Oni. No, Oni is her game. But here's the interesting thing about that game is that it is just a side-scrolling game. So in a world of like open worlds, Grand Theft Auto, whatever, where you can just wander around and do crime.
Yeah.
In this case, you're just side-scrolling, old school style, like a Double Dragon or a Pitfall or a Mega Man kind of thing.
Yeah, if I were a gamer, I think I'd be in that universe too.
Yeah, I was just speaking gibberish to you right there. I understand.
Right, yeah. For those of you who aren't nerds, we'll get back to the volleyball action.
If I was to say something like Alico weights or a set of 50s, then you would be on board.
Yeah, we're talking warm up.
All right, back to the volleyball here, where it's been all good. From the small French fry, we are now on to 12-2. How do you like? Oh, go ahead.
Perfect pass, perfect set is going to be next to impossible to stop out of the likes of Cheng and Hughes. Yeah, we forgot that 12-2 is a side change. You don't see that one very frequently.
Everyone's just getting warmed up. First Heritage event of the year. We'll have it sorted out by the time the league starts in the fall. Of course, AVP League play coming after 3 Heritage events. 3 Heritage events will be here in Huntington Beach this entire weekend. Then right after the Olympic Games, Manhattan Beach, followed by the regular stop in Chicago. That a terrific Midwest event, drawing everyone from the surrounding areas. Hughes picks up another one on 2 straight down. And then league play will begin. On the line here this weekend for a team like Cheng and Hughes. If they win this one, if they had three-peat here in Huntington, they automatically are guaranteed all of that fall action.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do, of course, is earn your way directly in. But certainly, at the very worst, you want a good finish so that you position yourself to have a spot in the league.
There's a nice crisp contact to the corner. Point number 3 for Jerger and Rice. What do you do if you're Jerger and Rice right now and you've kind of, in this first set, been a little bit overwhelmed at the start?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just remind yourself that there's still a lot of volleyball left to play. I mean, this first set may be out of reach, so to speak, but you start trying to build momentum towards the second.
So from the coach's perspective, then, what can a coach do when you have them in the box and this is happening out here? Where does your mind go of how to bring your athletes back?
Yeah, my kind of thought process whenever we were in tough situations was to narrow the focus. And what I mean by that is just, hey, let's not worry about it's 14-3. There's nothing we can do about it at this point. What we can do is try and make the best pass I can, and then try and make the best set I can. You know, kind of narrow that focus to one contact at a time, rather than kind of the zoomed out version of like, how are we going to make up a 10-point deficit, which obviously you can't really get into that mindset. There's a good start right there. Stuffy on Kelly Cheng.
Yeah, Macy Jerger picking up the huge stuff there. That is one way to get some solid stuff on your side. Of course, the former Florida State standout. Florida State, what a wonderful program they have down there.
That block happened in all 3 dimensions, Kevin.
What's that?
That block happened in all 3 dimensions. It wasn't linear on the 2-dimensional scale like the Oni.
Best volleyball video game of all time might be a good debate people could have.
What are my options?
There's Super Spike Volleyball, which is 2-person beach,
Yeah.
but to 10, which is weird.
But that's the one where I hit the power button and the guy keeps flying up and just like hits
Yep.
fireballs and it explodes the defenders. And all
Yeah,
that?
definitely, definitely. There's some indoor games that are pretty good as well.
Okay.
Yeah, where you get hit and you end up like a dead bug.
Okay.
Cheng and Hughes have hit the power button here. They have definitely powered up to a 15-6 opening set in Huntington Beach, where this has been their home. They've been 2-time defending champs. Take a look back at where things have gone for Cheng and Hughes in their reunion tour that has turned into a successful Olympic run.
The AVP Huntington Beach Open. We are setting the stage for the Women's Championship Final. And the #1 seeded team, Sarah Hughes and Kelly Cheng. Betsy Flint and Julia Scholes, the #4 seed. Big block by Cheng. She drops off the net. Hughes is there on the short one. Nice cut shot by Flint. Set point #2. Not just yet. Sarah Hughes with a deep corner jumbo rainbow shot, untouchable. Wow. Championship point for Cheng and Hughes. And that ball is out of bounds just like that. Sarah Hughes and Kelly Cheng are champions here in Huntington Beach.
There you go. Success in the sand for a pair that was so successful in college at USC. Cheng and Hughes, and they're showing their bona fides here, 16-6 in set 1. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic gold medalist and longtime beach coach Rich Lamborn, taking you through another women's match on Stadium Court as Kelly Cheng picks up another stuff block.
A great reach into the angle that time from Kelly. I mean, you said they've kind of made this their home. This is where Sarah Hughes grew up playing beach volleyball, and Kelly.
The actual sand. The
actual sand, yeah. So she's very, very familiar, and always nice to win at home. Kelly Cheng just up the road in Fullerton, so.
Yeah, they're rolling. I like that right there, the reaction from Sarah Hughes. Just kind of a roll them up. That's how this first set has gone, 18-6. An efficient performance.
We saw this in our match prior with TKN, Taryn and Kristen, putting a whooping on the 16 seed as well. A very businesslike effort, as we're seeing here from Kelly and Sarah. I mean, I was asking Cameron which version of this expression she preferred. Carl McGowan always used to tell us the way to best respect your opponents is to give them everything you got. If that means putting a beating on them, put a beating on them. I've heard it said the best way to respect your opponents is to show them none, which this seems very disrespectful out here, but really it's the ultimate sign of respect that Kelly and Sarah are laying everything out there, and it just happens to be working out this way. Yep. Unfortunately for Jerger and Rice.
When people complain about the score getting run up on them, well, stop sucking. I mean, really, what do you want? Oh, don't score anymore on us? We're already beat? Oh, did you give up? I'm sorry. So not only are you complaining about us continuing to play, but you have also quit?
Right.
Good, good. Yeah, that's excellence in a bottle.
Right.
Yeah, see if you can sell that.
That would be, yeah, the snarky response to that. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is running up the score. I get if we're talking about, 5-year-olds, maybe there's something to talk about, but in the professional ranks, by six, you take a 21-7 and you like it.
You stomp those little 6-year-olds. Yeah, Cheng and Hughes 21-7 in the first set. Yeah, that was an American History X kind of moment right there in set number 1.
Yeah, check that out if you don't get that reference.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. AVP 2024. So now, Rich, take you back into the coach's chair. on both sides. How about Cheng and Hughes? You dominated that first set. Everything went well. How do you keep your team on track?
Yeah, it always seems to be a challenge when you lay a beating out to keep your foot on the throttle. Right? I mean, again, as trite as it sounds, perhaps, my advice would be very similar to what I said to Jerger and Rice getting beat.
Okay.
Let's just keep taking one play at a time. We're doing everything we should be doing. We're executing at a high level. Let's not pull back at all. Let's keep the foot down, and let's finish this like we know we're capable of finishing it.
And you always want to get off the sand as quickly as possible. The temperature is certainly helping here in Huntington Beach. As it's, in terms of volleyball, it's a beautiful day.
Perfect.
Sun is not coming down on you. It's about 70 degrees. It's 1:20 in the afternoon, and you're looking good. FIVB World Rankings here. This gives you an idea of just how strong this tournament is. 3 of the top 5 are here in Huntington.
That's right. Yeah, we were talking about how it's kind of an old school type of a vibe here, in that we have 4 of 5 top teams on the women's side coming from the U.S. and Brazil. Canada picking up the slack there in the 4 seed. But yeah, 3 of the 5 in Huntington Beach. That shows you the strength of field here, and it should be exciting for that first spot in the league come Sunday.
Second set, Megan Rice at the line. One of 2 Megan Rices competing in the tournament today. There's only one Kelly Cheng, and she will be on the attack here. Nice little inside-out move.
Kev, you can certainly appreciate that as a receiver on the indoor side. That was phenomenal stuff from Kelly Cheng, taking that ball all the way across the middle, passing it perfectly.
You could read that float serve on its way over. Pulling here, but finding the line, Megan Rice with the cross-court winner.
That's a hard thing to shake a little bit when you're Jerger and Rice, is almost that feeling of relief anytime a ball goes down in your favor.
Line was a call, line executed against Team Florida.
And again, I love that added hand setting element to the game of Cheng and Hughes. Sarah Hughes just pops that thing out so quickly, and Kelly Cheng seems to be in such a nice rhythm offensively coming off of those sets.
Another ace serve here. They're doing it in all phases of the game.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Kelly Cheng seems like a hitter dissimilar than everyone on the tour that you could really change tempo with. You could go a little faster too in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think another thing that makes her unique is that cross-body swing, you know, very similar to our good friend Riley Salmon, who, you know, that's an uncommon thing. I think most people are kind of angle hitters for the most part. So her ability to pull that ball across her body really opens up the court for her a lot, I think.
Riley Salmon, if you don't know, he'll cut you.
Just death by 1,000 paper cuts, the game of Riley Salmon. Yeah, I was just going to speak a little bit about the coach of Kelly and Sarah, of course, Kelly's husband, Jordan Cheng, who just puts in an immense amount of work behind the scenes with his squad and really has them playing some phenomenal volleyball. It's always interesting when you have that dynamic, right, where a coach is married to one of the players. You wonder how things are going to work out. But I think with the sort of reconciliation, if you want to call it, the reconnection of this squad, they've both come into it with such an added level of maturity that I think is sort of the pivotal element that has led to their success on the sand in their world championship and spot in the Paris Olympic Games.
Well, that was a known quantity coming back into this, right? Whereas when Kelly Clays, then Kelly Clays, was with Sarah Sponsel, that was something that developed during that time period. It seems like a lot more difficult thing to manage than knowing up front that this is how it was going to be.
Sure, I would agree with that.
This has looked like a pretty symbiotic performance for the defending champs and reigning world champions. Cheng will serve and go to the net. Short serve. And pulling line, not able to get there in time. Winner for Macy Jerger. Hope Brooke Niles is tuning in. Watch her former athlete perform here on Stadium.
Kev, between you and our new owner, Bobby, I'm going to have to keep my dictionary on hand this season. Symbiotic, he used the word draconian in a conference call we were on the other day.
Yeah. You might want to get a thesaurus to go with that. Maybe a pair. If you see any gentlemen in short sleeve shirts selling them door to door, let me know.
I only have enough money for one.
That ball is cross court and out. Another point for the women in blue and red. 7-4, opening a little bit of an advantage. Cheng and Hughes, not quite as dominating as the first, where they opened 11-1. Little push to the line, picked up by Hughes, who pushes it forward a little too far. And lots of open court there. Smart read by Macy Jerger.
Yeah, again, that's, you know, I mean, we would call that a mistake technically, but you love the thought process behind it and the attempt to really on the move in the middle of the dive try and shovel that ball all the way up on top of the net for your partner.
A service. All of a sudden, Jerger and Rice are putting some money on the line here. Second meeting between these teams all time. To Cameron's point earlier today about teams staying together, we're getting some rematches. It was 21-11, 21-15. Cheng and Hughes taking the win back in Chicago, September of last year. Putting up a fight in the second set here. 7-6, Jerger and Rice. Here's a push set out to Hughes. Oh, that's a beautiful play.
Very nice looking play, good rhythm. Now, those are those little nuances that you have to have as part of your offensive game to compete with the best in the world, that offensive variety.
First match remainder off of both these teams. Winner will play once more at the end of the day, somewhere around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Side switch, 8-6. Cheng at the line. That ball tapped over on 2. Best Kelly Cheng impression done by Macy Jerger.
That is correct. A little bit of rhythm on the side of Jerger Rice here in the second. That was to be expected. No team out here is really going to see the wrong side of a 21-7, 21-7, you wouldn't think.
That ball super tight to the net, managed by Cheng. I think that's more flexibility in her attack capability. Even when the ball's tight, she gets herself right tight to the net, goes straight up.
Yeah, that was fantastic execution there, keeping that arm high. Good footwork, snapping it off the top.
And then you have Sarah Hughes behind you. It's just ridiculous. Did she dislocate her shoulder right there?
Yeah.
Let's check her for legs like Charlie Sheen saw in that global warming film.
Both you and I strained our rotator cuffs on that swing just watching it.
Yeah, I'm going to need attention. Trainer. Hughes, tough serve down the line. And that one cracked into the cross court underneath Cheng.
That's a great swing from Jerger. Hard cross court. I love the, you know, serving is such a rhythmic thing, right? You've got to find that rhythm that you can repeat. You've got to find your sort of pre-shot routine, so to speak. And Sarah Hughes has almost kind of this side-cocked approach, it looks like, but she whaps that float serve.
Well, it looks like a serve stolen from a certain Olympic gold medalist out of Germany.
Yeah, that's a good team to emulate. There's a couple German gold medalists on the beach volleyball side. I'm assuming you're talking about Laura Ludwig.
Well, Laura Ludwig is the only one to serve like that, right? And everyone copying that move.
Well, you could go a little bit earlier into the Julius Brink and Reckerman.
Okay.
They kind of started off the German approach to float serving.
Okay.
Laura does have a very unique thing, but if you watch all the Germans, they have kind of that setup and then they shift the ball over to their hitting hip or hitting shoulder and toss it up.
Cheng right side, good opportunity, banged in. That ball will rebound right to her, and that's an over on 1. Nearly went. Here's Hughes. No, it's shot over straight ahead. That's more creativity than we've had in a single point in forever.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me how if you attempt an over on 1 or an over on 2 and it doesn't work out and the rally continues, how frequently players continue to try and do that.
You know, I think of Don Suja, who never met a dump attempt he didn't take.
Especially if the opposing team setter puts down a dump.
He's for sure dumping
almost guaranteed. Yeah.
Self-booyah to self-booyah as we hit the technical timeout at 12-9. Cheng and Hughes. Good response here from Jerger and Rice. They've really steadied out different aspects of their game. They're getting past the block. They're making a few plays. They're staying on top of some of those weirdo efforts. That's why that last rally continued.
Yeah, and they settled into a little bit of an offensive rhythm, like you said. It is. Yeah, like it's hard when you kind of run in to the freight train in set number 1, but they've gotten their bearings and they're putting up a much better fight here in the second.
At least like some effort. We did get Kelly there, but they ended up getting the point, you know, like so.
Yeah, it's gonna be settled battle no matter what. So, but I don't think there's harm.
Yeah, great job. Well, nice job.
There's that jump serve once again working down the line. Megan Rice will get the attempt a little bit too far outside, and she manages it over the top.
I think Sarah disappointed with herself there. She kind of committed to that cross court a little earlier than maybe she would have liked. That's what happens when you're a very good defender. You have high standards for yourself and you feel like everything is within your reach.
I think that's sort of the expectation, right, from every high-level performer, is that whatever the normal percentages are, let's take hitting for instance. If you're having an exceptional hitting performance in a beach volleyball individual match, it's 450, 500, maybe higher, but those are really exceptional performances. But I think the expectation is always to hit 1,000.
Very true. It's an interesting sort of duality that you need to possess, in that you expect to hit 1,000, but you have to manage the frustration of reality being somewhat lower than that.
Well, the no frustration here from Kelly Cheng, getting it bounce off the cable for the winner. She'll move and go to the same spot, almost the same result. Hughes picks this one up. They try and go fast, and the response from Hughes is good.
The back one, Kevin, on the sand.
How about that? Back one knuckle.
I like it.
Yeah, if you had that on your bingo card, go ahead and mark it off.
Yeah, what I like about the quick tempo is, even, you know, we wouldn't call that perfectly executed probably for Kelly and Sarah, but what it does is it forces the defense to commit earlier than they want, and that is an absolute feasting.
Now we'll get a timeout. 16-10. The floodgates are open again for Cheng and Hughes. So tough serving, efficient transition have opened this lead.
I mean, almost what more do you need? They've been excellent in their side-out game, of course, which puts them in position to turn points defensively and extend their lead. They're not really giving up anything.
Kelly Cheng feeling it.
Now you make your girl look good because of that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Gas pedal. Yeah. Just really try to fight.
Look at the AVP League coming up September to November. All roads lead to the 2024 AVP League format. 8 teams, 1 men's pair, 1 women's pair will be drafted into those franchises, and we will have events across the fall. Weekends will feature 1 match a day per side. We'll have 4 teams in a city. Top 4 teams in seeding points will go to the men's and women's championship. That should be exciting. Championship weekend.
It should be very exciting, and I like the already the thought of the camaraderie that's going to exist. You know, when you have kind of a women's pair that's part of your squad.
Yep.
Right, you're there supporting them, they're there supporting you.
And you get college beach volleyball right now.
Yeah, yeah, and if you've been to a college beach volleyball event, there is kind of a different vibe. because there's this whole group, which feels a little bit unusual in the sport historically.
Yeah, if you're going to look for a pro analog, it's going to be Glendale, USA versus Brazil back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, I doubt any of the teams will be hated like Brazil, but we will probably have some pretty good rivalries that develop.
Yeah, it's so interesting how if you've ever met any of the Brazilians, they're such likable people, but once the whistle is blown, you don't want to hate anyone more.
Yeah, no, great people, individually fantastic. Every time you beat Brazil, yes, please. Yeah, I think we had Phil on the Net Live for years saying, I love beating Brazil.
Yeah. I liken it to my opinion of people who attended Long Beach State University. Individually, amazing people, unique characters. Put 2 or more of them together, they're some of the worst human beings on earth.
Cheng and Hughes, 17-11 here in set number 2. It's been smooth sailing for our defending champs and reigning world champions. Another tough float serve, hit down line to line, but fought off and scored by Macy Jerger.
Yeah, that was a great response. Tough serve, beautiful cut shot to work her way out of that.
On 2, there's a jump set, but that one's going to get called a little too long in the hands there, Rich. What would you call?
Yeah, I'm surprised that she's arguing this one. That one was clearly mishandled. I think she decided late, it looked like to me. She kind of jumped and was going to hit. Thought she was going to make the decision. Yeah, that was not good. Again, that little extra turn away from the body at the last second. So good.
I really like the set, too. Fighting it off, going backwards, Kelly Cheng, and she put that thing straight vertical.
Yeah, you see the platform control. She gives it a little extra oomph.
Excellent work by the crew there, capturing the wrist away action of Sarah Hughes. Here's a good transition opportunity. 18-13, critical moment. Touched and put back over. Kept alive. Rice versus Cheng, deep corner winner. All right, 18-14.
Good grit shown by Jerger and Rice to get that side out, but not to be overlooked. That change of direction, one-arm spear from Sarah Hughes, absolutely trying to shovel that into the net.
Excellent point.
Yeah, that was a very heads-up, veteran-type defensive play.
And what do you get from that? By shoveling into the net, what do you provide to the point or your partner?
Well, she wasn't in a position where she could pop it high enough to give Kelly any options, but when you fire it into the net, you could see it bounce out with some space so that Kelly could then get it over the net for the rally to continue.
There was no rally to that one. 19-14, Cheng and Hughes 2 away from advancing to round 2. Staying in the winner's bracket, of course, double elimination. Heritage events, very familiar format for anyone that has loved beach volleyball over the last few decades. Jerger and Rice need to make a move right now. We need to get a 3 or 4 point run at least. Who do you serve? Kelly Cheng. That's not going to work. Match ball.
That's what makes it so tough, though, when you're so proficient at the option offense, is how do you attack that? If you're trying to serve Sarah Hughes, that means Kelly Cheng's going to hit a fair amount of those balls. So do you just serve Kelly Cheng because at least you know what's coming at you? You know who's going to hit at you?
I think with the Taylors, that's a similar problem. That's why you spend time serving Taylor Sander.
Correct.
All right, match ball. Tight to the net. Dug out. Popping up is Hughes. Hughes on the line, all over it. She'll attack in the middle. No, she won't. It's a reverse pokey to finish the second set and this match. Hughes and Cheng looking like the champions they are.
Yeah, with the lefty showing off the full array of their skill set in that match. I would say, Kevin, a wonderful performance from the defending champs and the world champions.
Yeah, 7 and 15, and if you break down that tape as an opposing coach or player, I think you're only going to come up with watch out for everything.
Yeah, I would liken that, you know, similarly to the Denver Nuggets performance against the Timberwolves last night. You go, that was
they were there?
kind of an anomaly. Let's just forget about that one and kind of reset and get back to our game come our next match.
So Cheng and Hughes faced a stiffer bit of competition in that second set, but then steadied themselves out as well and got back to their game. Lots of nice transition opportunities for Sarah Hughes, who continues to display the defensive chops that made her one of the most exciting defenders to come into the pro ranks over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of the vibe, the synchronicity that they've found upon reconnection, Kelly and Sarah, really is heightening that ability as well, because, you know, obviously there's two parts to playing defense. You can dig all the balls you want, but you got to transition those balls, and their ability to turn those scoring opportunities into points, phenomenal.
Yeah, turn them into points either with clean 3 contact transitions or options on 2, and the option on 2 finished it with a reverse knuckle for Cheng and Hughes. I'll look at the match stats as we get set for our next stadium court matchup. 29 kills and hitting an extremely high percentage, Cheng and Hughes.
Yeah, 1 error in 2 sets is an astounding number. If you do that, you're going to win a lot of volleyball matches.
3 blocks, and some of those were early. And tell you what, sometimes you have to go away from what you have to know that what you had at that moment was better than anything else out there.
That's right. Sometimes you think the grass is greener, Kevin, but the grass is as green as you like it right here at home.
Cheng and Hughes on to round 2 with a strong round 1 performance. For Rich Lamborn, I'm Kevin Barnett. We'll see you on the sand for the next one.
I'll say it again, Rich.